Ledger. I'm Graham Ledger, and welcome to the Daily Ledger. Our cover story, the stars and bars and guilty white Americans whitewashing American history. The sudden, phony, politically correct, revisionist groundswell of animosity over a flag is sucking up precious time and resources over a controversy that doesn't exist. And it's right out of the Obama playbook. Incite a conflict in order to inflict radical change. The Confederate flag is as much a part of this country as the Black Panthers. But in the South Carolina House, sudden indignation, not over the murder of 9 people, not over the burning of the American flag, not over the $18 trillion national debt, no, over a piece of cloth.
I think the time is right and the ground is fertile for us to make progress as a state and to come together and remove the Confederate battle flag from the prominent statue outside the State House and put it in the museum. It is time to acknowledge our past, atone for our sins, and work towards a better future. That future must be built on symbols of peace, love, and unity. That future cannot be built on symbols of war, hate, and divisiveness.
So, members of the South Carolina House voted overwhelmingly to remove the Confederate flag from the State House and stick it in a museum. Same thing in Alabama now. The governor there banned the stars and bars. And what? What did that do exactly? How is that helping the families of the victims of the maniac who spawned all this nonsense by murdering their innocent loved ones in a church? And what about free speech? Is this move an effort to shut up and intimidate Americans who choose to fly the Confederate flag? Joining me now, conservative activist and president of Citizens Against Agenda 21, Ernie White. Ernie, I firmly believe that this is an effort by many people in this country, driven by, I'm not sure what, could be an agenda, could be ideology, could be just guilt, to shut down people who happen to choose to fly a Confederate flag. I don't think I'll ever fly one. I don't know about you, but they, at least in this country, have the right to do so.
Well, of course they do, and that's the problem with this. It seems like every time we have one person do something crazy, and shooting up a church is crazy, but every time one person does something, it seems like the rest of the country always has to pay. And the one thing you can bet on with politicians, if they find an opportunity to do something to distract you, they will do it. How does a Confederate flag have anything to do with gunning down innocent victims in a church? It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It's just a distraction. And again, politicians running into conference to look like they're doing something when we know right now there's so much going on in the world that they need to be doing. But you've got your politicians now looking like, at least we're doing something. We're going to take your flag down. I want to know what's next. Is it going to be the American flag? Will it be your flag of your favorite football team?
Right.
What are we going to do next? But again, as long as America wants to continue to give up all their rights, this is what's going to start happening to you.
I'll tell you what's next. It's the Washington Redskins. They're going to go after that name. I mean, this is such nonsense here. But if we kind of zoom out a little bit and we look at the big picture here, I think this fits perfectly into the Obama model, the model that I describe as divide, distract, and then destroy. As you mentioned, we've got so many more important things that we need to be addressing. Instead, we're spending capital on this nonsense. What about the $18 trillion national debt? What about hollowing out the military? What about the southern border, which is wide open and ripe for a terrorist attack?
Well, all those things that you just talked about, most of Americans aren't educated enough to even understand what you're talking about. But the moment you bring in race, The moment you give us a reason to start hating each other again, that we understand, that we get excited about. And politicians know that if they can instill race relations into any type of topic, they're going to get all sorts of play, just like they're doing right now. So taking down that Confederate flag, just another way to get us divided when we should be a country trying to come together, because I keep telling people this all the time. If this country goes down, we are all going down with it. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, we're all going down. $18 trillion in debt, no way to pay that. What's going on in the Middle East? No one seems to care, but the Confederate flag, that's taken center stage.
And there's a domino effect here. Now we're hearing Robert E. Lee. There's some schools named Robert E. Lee, and then maybe there's a statue here and there. Those now have to be taken down. Well, what about the flag of Hawaii? That part of it incorporates the Union Jack. And what about George Washington and James Madison and Adams and you name it, who were part of the Constitutional Convention in 1787? And they chose not to abolish slavery at that moment in time. It doesn't matter the reason, Ernie, but these are all people who I'm wondering if 5, 10, 15 years from now, they're going to be attacking these people as well for basically the same reason.
Well, I agree. I think they're going to be attacking a lot of people. Another thing that's it makes you kind of concerned when you see every store, when you see all the internet starting to take the Confederate flag out of their stores, off the internet. Again, this shows the control that the government has. And once they decide they want to come after any issue, if they decide to come after us,
right,
then they can focus on us, and it looks like everybody will fall in line and just take that lead. We cannot, again, give up all of our rights just because one person did something horrific.
But if you were writing a script to destroy a nation, this would be part of it. The huge debt, the stifling of your rights, the hollowing out of the military. And, you know, we have 9 dead Americans in South Carolina who, some of them haven't even been buried yet. But I'm going to tell you something. That is nothing compared to what is coming, and it's going to look something like this. Roll tape. That is the Islamic State assassinating, executing people who were locked into a car and then firing an RPG. It's unbelievable that this is going on. We're having a debate about a piece of cloth, and this is going on every day in the Middle East. Meantime, in crazy California, at one of the most esteemed universities, or at least used to be one of the more esteemed universities in this land, UC Berkeley, they are banning speech. You are no longer to say such horrible things like, this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. They are literally trying to get people to change the way they speak. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Jenna Napolitano, she's now running those schools, and this is called microaggression. Microaggression, most people have never heard of it. What it means is you thought racism was bad. Now, if you ask a person, hey, where are you from? That could be construed as racist. So microaggression means that we're really going to take all racism under a microscope. Anything you say or do can now be construed as racist, and the teachers are learning this, the students are learning this, so it's not about learning how to come together as a country anymore. It's now about, you know, you hurt my feelings and I feel like that was racist. And again, that's not going to bring this country together. We need to start coming together as people and start loving one another and stop trying to figure out, was that racist what that person just said to me?
Something's really wrong with this picture when you can't wear a shirt with an American flag on it on Cinco de Mayo to school, but we celebrate a gentleman who won the decathlon, who draped himself in the American flag 40 years ago. We celebrate him because he wants to become a girl. Things are upside down. Ernie, thank you. Coming up next, kiss the Boehner ring or face the music. Also ahead, adios, America.
Democrats don't care about recent immigrants. They just want the votes. The Democrats want the votes. The Republicans want the campaign cash. The businesses want the cheap labor.